Hello, everyone. DSP here. Happy holidays. Indeed, it is the holiday season of 2024. And I have decided to do a long-form React event, the first of which that I have done in many months, actually. I did a few of these over the summer and then basically put them on hiatus so that I could focus on the very busy, gaming season of the fall. But I'm back with one. This one is actually per your request. All right. And when I say that, I mean, Mr. Metokur is someone who over the years has talked about me for the greater part of a decade, right? But also apparently has talked about so many different people, so many different topics on the internet. I guess people say he's kind of an equal opportunity troll because he'll troll anyone. He'll even troll trolls. Like he trolled my troll community of the Sons of Kojima. And a lot of people say he was the person responsible for exposing them of what they really were to the internet and basically kind of led to their downfall and unraveling. So the thing is, as you may or may not know, over the years, I basically don't really pay attention to my trolls or anyone who's had trolling activity towards me unless it's forced that I have to or it's shoved down my throat. I basically don't have anything to do with these people, so I never knew anything about this guy. And then, a couple of years ago, I was looking to get interviewed publicly because I felt like I was being misrepresented on the internet. And Mr. Metokur was one of the people who stood up and said he wanted to interview me. Like he really wanted to, right? Like it was like a bucket list thing for him that he wanted to do was to have me on a show or talk with me in a conversation publicly on the internet. Sadly, it never happened, and it looks like it's never going to. And that's unfortunate, right? But when this documentary was announced and then it came out, people reached out to me and were like, Phil, you should definitely react to this. This is something that's, right up your alley. It's something that we've always wanted to see, an interaction between you two. You don't know anything about this guy, so now you can learn about him and we can hear what you have to say about it. And so that's the deal. That's what we're doing here today. All right. It's about an hour and a half long documentary by June the King. As you know, when I do long form reacting and I add a lot, I usually have a lot to say. It could take a while to get through. All right. So I'm not sure how long my react will be. I'm going to record it in like hour segments and split it up for on demand. I may even clip highlights out of this and make a highlight series depending on, the things that we learn. It should be a good time. I'll just ask for a little bit of leniency today. I have a brand new setup. I've only been using it for around 2 weeks. I'm still trying to figure out exactly everything, work out the bugs. We may have some issues today. I'm hoping not, but if we happen to have any issues today, please let me know that, that's going on so I can try to fix it on the fly. I want to make the best kind of content for you here. And obviously, I'm trying to make it happen. All right. Fair enough. I did get a contribution where, by the way, there will be live shout outs for contributions. There will be live discussion. If people tag me in the chat and I feel it's pertinent and I want to talk to them, I will. If a contribution comes in, I am going to shout it out. I'm going to update my leaderboard as if it's a normal stream. So you will be having that level of interaction. It's not just me in the video. There's other people at play here. So Proto Man did a $5 super chat and says, FYI, June the King doesn't cover a Bathtub Ross, who was one of your trolls. He was part of a rival trolling group SOK was trying to purge. Okay. Listen, this is an hour and a half documentary, right? This is, I feel will be good, but there's no way that in an hour and a half, it's going to cover everything. It's not as comprehensive as, say, my documentary was, which was over 3.5 hours. But at least what I'm hoping to do is just get a cursory understanding of the man, so that I understand. Now it's like I'm trying to play catch up with the rest of the internet. Everyone else was in on this shit. Now I'm trying to understand it for myself, right? Okay. All right. So without further ado, I think it was time to get started here with Mr. Metokur, the most famous internet troll documentary by June the King. And by the way, shout out to June the King once again. I want to give this guy props. He puts a lot of effort and hard work into all of his documentaries. All right. I've enjoyed watching many of them and reacting to many of them over the years. This is just the latest one. I mean, hell, I even reacted to my own. You could watch on this channel. You can go back and watch me react to the Review Tech USA and my own documentary from earlier this year. If you're interested, all here on demand, give it a look. All right. But in the meantime, now with my new tech, here I am in the corner. It is time for the documentary. I feel like we should turn on closed captioning But let's see how well it works, because sometimes YouTube closed captioning is absolutely atrociously bad. So let's see how good it works, and if it's really bad, we'll turn it off, okay? All right. Away we go, my friends, with another one. Here we are.
Mr. Metokur is the most famous internet troll, one that, through his 16...
Hold on. How's that volume looking? Trying to find it. Here we go.
...year tenure has built up a reputation with his involvement in things like Gamergate and internet blood sports, or even just his exposing of bathtub Ross.
Why were you looking up naked kids in bathtubs in the first place, Ross?
I thought, like, why not? Like, are you kidding me? Like,
it is his coverage of marginal yet aggressive communities that has earned him his fame, and it is his personality that keeps people coming back.
Totally not interested in two anthropomorphic robotic creatures getting each other gay pregnant.
Because Metokur...
What? We're 35 seconds in. What? Okay. I'll be honest, that's not what I expected. I was not expecting that this is going to be the first thing that we hear in the documentary. This will be interesting. This will be an interesting one. Again, me, Darkside Phil, I don't go into these weird bowels of the internet. I don't go into the crazy fringes of the internet to learn about this stuff. I don't partake in this. I stay out. I stay in my lane. I make video game content, and I chill with my audience. I feel like even though I've been a YouTuber for 16 years, I've missed out on these other entire levels of existence, and I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm very happy that I don't have involvement with that stuff. You know, I mean, holy shit. But I guess we're going to find out about it today. Here we go.
...is highly elusive. He disappears for months on end. Yet viewership is easily regained because none can fill his void. He is someone that is largely anonymous, yet highly well known. Someone that publicly attacking him only emboldens his existence.
So I'm actually curious, and I wonder if we'll get our answer during the documentary. Has he ever shown his face? Do we know who he is? You know what I mean? Or has he actually managed to stay completely anonymous this whole time? I don't know. But, like, I've never seen a picture of his face. I've only seen that, like, avatar of him with a hat on, sometimes with sunglasses, sometimes not, and with the headphones on. But I've never, you know, I don't know if anyone actually knows what he looks like or anything like that. I guess we'll figure it out. Okay.
Someone that lives in a destabilizing environment yet remains consistent. He breaks all the rules and somehow always ends up on top. And this is his story. In 2008, there was a crop-up of Gym81 Gym accounts made on various websites.
39-year-old male in 2008? So you're going to tell me that he's like almost 60 now? Is that true? Do you think that's true? Or do you think that that's just like not his real age? I wonder.
Through the profiles of this individual, much can be extracted.
The nice thing about Stage 6 was you could upload a 5-hour video, a 10-hour video. They had like an adult-only section. You could have violence and sex, and they didn't care. It was a great website. And so when DivX, you know, they wanted to get their codec pushed in Hollywood, and part of the deal with that and the phone manufacturers they were working with was they had to get rid of the website. And they couldn't sell it to anybody. Microsoft, other people wanted to buy it. They refused to sell it. So they just shut it down. So what happened was there was, you know, a large community of people. We had like all these little subgroups. People are like in anime, video games, whatever, you know, all these different groups kind of got like thrown out. So we all started making our own little websites and our own little groups that kind of reach out to each other. So a lot of the accounts are kind of in relation to that.
From his Stage 6 profile, he introduces himself as James, and in his bio states he is 26 years old.
Oh, okay. That's so is that current then? 39-year-old? I mean, that's current because it says he's 26 there, 39 now. So maybe he just kept maintaining his age. I wonder if anyone still uses this. Damn, I've never heard of Stage 6, and I used to, you know, I knew about all these different places back then. Like, I was into early memeing shit on, like, you'rethemannow.dog.com, and freaking everyone knew about Newgrounds and shit. But I never heard about this one, Stage 6. All right, thank you to Mythos Irving, who just did a $20 super chat. First-time donator. The Kino Casino opened my eyes to you. Your detractors are sick in the head. I need to help the king's taxes today. So long live the king. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. and welcome. Again, this is something that I haven't done in many, many months. So hopefully it's entertaining to all of you that I'm doing this and learning. Maybe all of us are going to learn a lot today. Already, I don't know about this Stage 6 old website, right? So, all right. Thank you, Mythos Irving, for the very generous contribution.
This is where I get my handle from. Jim equals James. 81 year of birth, Jim equals what the hell. One more time and you get Jim81 Jim. This is the same handle I use on every site, so more than likely, if you see a user with it somewhere else, it is me. Unquote. On the right-hand side, along with sharing his interest of an archetypical nerd, he shares that he lives in Minnesota. Then on this account, while the information is lacking in the profile, the website itself is a Minnesota's writers group, again confirming his location and desire to be a writer.
The Minnesota's writers group, that was part of an English 101 class for an associate's degree.
From these three websites, it can be concluded that Jim81 Jim was born on October 9th, 1981. His first name is James. He lives or lived in Forest Lake, Minnesota, and
He's been doxxed. Now, obviously, he's just piecing together public info. And what's funny is, you know, I guess he's just trying to make a profile on him. But so FYI, June the King did this exact same thing with Low Tier God in a documentary many years ago. Low Tier God said, "Oh, you doxed me," and basically got like all angry because I guess he didn't want anyone to know about who he really was. It's like, yeah, but it's all public info. It's just people scrounged it together and put it in one place. It doesn't mean that anyone doxed you. It was just info that was out there. He got so upset, and he actually waged a war against June the King with copyright strikes and all kinds of shit. But all right, so basically we're getting a profile of him now, but I guess no one really knows his real name.
has an interest in writing and is currently attending college. This, as it was back then, is all accurate as Jim confirmed this information to be true on later dates. The purpose of being able to piece this information together is both understanding who Jim is, but also understanding why this was a mistake because of the environment he was going to enter.
I mean, I was fairly good about not having a lot of personal stuff up, and that's insane, right? When you, again, when I'm telling you, like, my original username was linked to the college I went to. Nobody ever figured that out, right? Isn't that weird? That nobody ever took a minute to look through the website and be like, oh shit, this is an English composition class. And this is the school he goes to, right? Nobody ever did. I ended up getting doxxed initially, like back in the day during Gamergate. And I got doxxed not because I had like pieces of personal information out. Somebody hacked into my PayPal.
As seen on his VO account, Jim made AMVs or anime music videos. This one is titled Oran Gay Bar AMV. While this video is inaccessible, it is understood that this was unserious. It was made as a joke as implied by the profile flavor text. Quote, "I am me to myself alone." Unquote. What's more, on his Stage 6 profile, he was uploading his prank calls as Mr. Roger and Joe Pesci. But that was not all.
Hi everybody, this is Jim81 Jim, and I decided to do a video because I'm frankly blown away. I'm blown away by the fact that this even exists. We're talking a half a page up from his donate button, begging you for money so he can keep this shitty little fucking site going. He's got an...
I can't, it's such bad quality, you can't read it. Posted by Spax. So basically, even in 2008, he was someone who was calling people out, criticizing people for their behavior online, which I believe is what he's always done. Like, that's what he's known for, correct? So it says, the Spax 3 website review from April 4th, 2009. Okay.
An announcement talking about all the shit he just bought. I don't know what the fuck E for All is. I'm gonna guess it's got to do with video games or anime, because he's white and he's a virgin, and therefore anything he does has to revolve around those two fucking things.
E for All, I know what this is. E for All was when E3 originally was the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and it was meant to be a yearly convention that the press would go to. It was only for press and industry insiders in video games. Well, in the late 2000s, the people who ran E3 realized they were leaving money on the table because so many people wanted to go and couldn't because they weren't part of, you know, the journalism community. So they created E for All, which essentially meant you could go no matter who you were, for all, and you could get access to play games early before they've been released. You'll get some of the same information that the press would get on new game releases and things like that. But I believe at first it started that it was completely free and you could just go and you had to wait in line. You'd be like tents outside and you go inside the tent. You'd be able to try games and stuff. I think eventually they actually turned it into a paid event where you had to buy tickets for it and shit. So that's what E for All is. I remember now. I forgot all about it. You know, E3 doesn't even exist anymore. So apparently this guy went to E for All and he was posting about how he spent money or something.
So here's a list of what he's bought. Transformers, Japanese PS2. Twinkle Star sprites for the Dreamcast. Snatcher for the Sega Saturn. Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, another story for the Super Famicom. We need a group of people who believe in quality control and can do something about it. What happened to the Black Hatters? You remember those guys? The real hackers, the people who could really do shit, who could really affect change, just a snap of their fingers and shit changed. Please, make it go away and then post a video response and make my day better. This is Jim81 Jim, preparing to stick a revolver in his mouth because he actually saw that this existed.
That was a video on Spax 3, an infamous Sonic critic. Jim made the video in late 2008, likely with the intent of it being viewed by a pocket of people from the websites he visited, like...
So is that supposed to be him? You see the picture in the upper left-hand corner? Is that actually supposed to be Metokur? Like an old-ass picture of him from like the 2000s? Is that like the only existing picture of him or something? Right? So I don't know. That's like the only picture I've ever seen in reference to him of a real person. So I don't know if that's really him or not. But so I mean, this is crazy. Like I didn't know that he went back this far. You know, I knew that he'd been doing this kind of stuff like for about a decade. I didn't know that he was doing this stuff in the 2000s. Just basically picking targets like that and going off on them. Huh.
Like 4chan or Metokur.
If you're just doing it to fuck around and have a good time, and you're showing it to friends, you're showing it to people like in a community you're a part of, without any intention of growing a brand or making money or being considered, publicly acceptable, yeah, you're going to say all sorts of wild stuff. You're going to put in suicide jokes. You're going to show video clips that there's no way anybody's going to let you do it. And to be fair, too, at the time, YouTube really didn't care.
So, I made this video as kind of an inside joke. It was just a response to the to the post that was in this thread. Like I'd said, it was an inside joke. It wasn't meant to be anything more than that. But, over the last 6 months since I did that video, other people have come forward and they've done parodies, they've done spoofs, they've done all sorts of crazy shit. I've seen animated series, and I've seen rants, and I've seen just a lot of really clever shit out there that's funny. It's funny, it's entertaining, and it's good. And what happens to those people? They get banned. They get kicked off of YouTube, they get kicked off DeviantArt. And, it's bullshit. It's bullshit that he can wield that kind of power. It's bullshit that people will, flag videos for him. He's got people flagging videos for him.
Jim is not a big fan of censorship or hypocrisy, and he especially does not like when creators take down critical or satirical pieces. And so...
Well, I'm sure then he must have spoken about me over the years about how people accuse me of taking people down when I don't. It's always people doing it in my name and shit, which I hate. But I wonder if he ever went off on me saying, "Oh, Darkseidfield takes down people on YouTube and hits them with claims," when I don't do it. I just don't. There was one person I did it to a zillion years ago. One person I did it to like a year and a half, 2 years ago, who was just stealing my raw content. I don't do it to anyone else. The one time I made a mistake, I retracted it, and that's it. But if he's a huge critic of that, I wonder if that was one of the things he went after me for, when I never really did it. It was always people impersonating me.
In 2009, he embarked on creating a series of videos covering Spax 3.
The sky dies the same. The stars, the moon.
The bears. Sorry.
Spax 3 was critical of the voice actor used in the 4Kids series, and as such, Jim was making fun of Spax 3's own rendition. Overall, there are 12 parts to Jim's coverage of Spax 3. The initial video...
This is funny to me because, doesn't this seem like the most insignificant thing ever made? This guy, Spax 3, who cares that he's a critic of Sonic the Hedgehog anime or 4Kids TV shows? Why even waste time on him, right? But I guess this is, small beginnings, humble beginnings. This is how he started. his content, and then after that he blew up.
Covering the forum, 5 videos covering Spax as a person, 5 other videos reacting to some of his Let's Plays, and a last conclusive video. Within the first 6 videos, Jim uses slurs freely as he does, and also includes a video of a person ending himself. This is how he addressed some of that backlash.
Well, fuck me, everybody's a critic. God, what can you do? You make one dead Mexican joke and everybody's on your ass.
Jim also included an around 30-second clip of one of Hitler's speeches juxtaposed to him immediately wishing everyone a happy Easter. He later incorporates this into the same video.
Happy Easter, everybody!
The online space in 2009 was more free and edgy, but unlike other creators who later expressed that the things they said in the past don't demonstrate their beliefs, Jim hardly ever focused on himself and allowed the audience to come to their own conclusions on his intentions. And as for those, he did not intend to become as popular as he was.
So basically, he would do whatever he wanted, and when people criticized him, he'd be like, well, fuck you. I don't care. And he just kept doing it. See, if the idea is that he never was going to be a brand and he never was going to monetize and he didn't care, then it doesn't matter, right? The only time that it would be a big issue is if he actually was intending to monetize his content and he was intending to turn it into something that would be a job, and then he has to play the rules. Play by the rules of YouTube, the rules of streaming, where you gotta change with the times. You can't keep doing the same kind of stuff because then they say, well, this isn't allowed anymore and that's not allowed anymore. And as you know, that's something that absolutely I have been through over the years. You know, early on in my YouTube days, I could say and do crazy stuff. I mean, I could have a top 10 most racist moments of the year countdown and everyone laughed, right? Can you imagine if I, DSP, had a top 10 most racist moments of the year countdown in 2024? Right? But that's the thing. Like, I stumbled into doing it as a living. And, you know, for him, it seems like he just never gave a shit, right? There you go.
You know, pretty much the other big one is, well, what are you going to do after Spax? Nothing. I have no idea why I have subscribers on YouTube or Dailymotion or Vimeo or any of the other places. So I have no idea why I have like 400 something subs. I don't know what you guys want. I don't make a lot of videos. If you've watched the shit that I've done recently, it's just bullshit fun stuff,
What followed were videos without consistent themes, like his 2 videos dedicated to Mike, a forum member that was having problems running game emulators. And no matter how clear Jim's instructions were, Mike could not get these emulators to work. This is what inspired Jim's first video to Mike, giving visual step-by-step instructions on how to get these emulators in games to work. But it turns out Mike even had issues with that.
Here it is. His fucking response to my video. I can't watch that. Firefox needs me to get Flash, and I can't install it. IE didn't have that problem. So, I just think about it. Let that sink in for a minute. And what does he mean that Firefox doesn't play Flash? I'm using fucking Firefox. In fact, I've never had a problem with Flash, and if you're looking at my desktop, you're going to see I use Firefox, Opera, Netscape, Avant, Safari, Real Player, and
I didn't
Internet
know Opera
Explorer.
was around back then.
So, I don't know what problems he's having, man, but this kid is fucking amazing. So, there you go. That's my after video. I'd say, hey, Mike, give me a response, but apparently you can't watch the video.
Jim is drawn to spaces that he sees as abnormal. He enjoys the absurdity in situations. So even though Mike did not benefit from these videos, Jim did because of how fruitless they were. But everyone has a line with what they deem too absurd, and Jim's line is life ruination.
There's one thing I have never fucking done to anybody, and that is outright try to paint them like they've done something horrible like that. I've never accused anybody of rape or murder or pedophilia, because that's a line I don't fucking cross. I'm not going to destroy your life in an attempt to get back at you for something. That's just fucked up. I'll screw with you, but I'm not going to go that extra step and try to fucking ruin you like that without backing that shit up with some fucking proof.
What caused this uproar was a situation in the Transformers toy reviewer community.
Do you see what I mean? Like, what caused this uproar was a situation in the Transformers toy reviewer community. The what? There's a Transformers toy reviewer community, and people care enough about it that they're doing stuff like that to each other? Like, what is going on? in the we have too much free time, absolutely no actual challenges in life community, that this is what we do all day. So what the fuck?
Situation where one group of people, including a popular reviewer in the space, were accusing a different reviewer of being a predator, but the accusers gave no evidence until pressed, and this was their evidence.
So what he said is, the bee shoots its honey on the flower's face. Yeah. The bee shoots its honey on the flower's face. But this is what we're going to destroy somebody's life over? Is a fucking teenage boy hearing a bad sex joke? Are you fucking kidding me?
While Jim was a troll at heart, there were times he would drop the veil to address something he saw as important. But
Is he gonna address the hat? Like, I'm really interested in like the hat and the headphones that you see like everywhere with Metokur. You see these as like symbols that represent him, but I don't necessarily know what they mean. Do they have any meaning, or is that just part of the avatar that he used? I wonder if that'll be addressed. I mean, there it is, right there in the shot. So I wonder.
for the most part, especially in 2010, Jim was set out on trolling and would lay out bait videos. These would critique communities rather.
ICP, mentally disabled mimes. Wow. From what I'm to understand, I was never a part of it and I never really understood it. The Insane Clown Posse community was like this crazy, dedicated, what do they call it, cult fan base? First of all, I want you to think about it. Insane Clown Posse. Guys that dressed up like clowns and did hip-hop style music. And then later on, they got into pro wrestling and shit like this, right? So, what the fuck? But they had such a, yeah, the Juggalos, exactly. The Juggalos, right? And that's what they're called, Juggalos, their followers. So if you say anything bad about Insane Clown Posse, they would like come after your ass. Yeah, look, the circus is canceled. The Juggalos are drunk. So he would do stupid videos like this and people would take the bait. That's funny.
Rather than individuals.
God, I had like hundreds of accounts. I just with different names. What I used to do is I'd make an account, and I'd set up a fake persona, and then I'd make bait videos, and I'd let it sit for like 3 years, because eventually a group would come across it and try to like get an easy kill on it.
Victims constantly took the bait, one of which was a juggalo defending the Insane Clown Posse.
And then I get a response. He made a video response to me. This is fantastic.
This is fantastic. I have something to work with.
It's just great. So he was inebriated. So to be fair, I've smoked some weed. And I don't mean, oh, hey guys, look, I'm a stoner. No, I mean I'm really high. Honest to God, right now, I'm fucking stoned. I think that evens the odds, because I want to be fair. Fair and balanced, like Fox News, guys.
Jim also made bait videos criticizing the commentary community, and so came the responses.
People like to make this kind of video content, therefore, you have got no right to say that they haven't got the right to make it. Do you think you're cool or something?
No, I don't think I'm cool. Just really fucking good looking. Really, really good looking.
That black and white image is, according to Jim, the only image of him out there. But most of what Jim states about himself is brought into question because he enjoys messing with people.
Okay, so then that answers our question. That avatar of a guy pointing like this, it's not him. I don't know why they associate that with him then. That's supposed to be his. So that's not black and white. What do they call that? Embossed or something like that. It's a weird photo effect you can use. It's like a reverse image, but then it like puffs it up or something. Huh. There's only one picture ever of him on the internet.
It's like, oh, yeah, by the way, do you know what my popular dancing channel is? And he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, oh, yeah, I have it's like 300,000 subs. And like, they couldn't wrap their head around it, but people started going to look for it. I always found the idea funny to make people go look for it.
Though the thought is absurd, it is known that Jim had various channels. Some of the more prominent are Games Good Me Bad, Jim81 Jim, Midlife Jim, and the best known at the time, Internet Aristocrat, where Jim often abandoned channels after
wait a minute. I didn't know that was him. I've heard of Internet Aristocrat. That was him? It's the first time I knew that. I've heard of that account before, and I think, I'm not even kidding, I think back in the day I saw a few videos from it. I mean, that's how old, I'm talking about like old YouTube, right? I think I actually saw a few of those videos. I wonder if I'll recognize any of them if he talks about
amounts of views. This channel is one he came back to the most, though every now and then he will revive a different channel for important updates.
Games Good Me Bad here, and today I just wanted to tell you a big update. At 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be taking a shit.
Up until late 2013, this is what Jim was, an extremely small creator by intention who scattered his videos across various channels, some possibly still undiscovered, and countless videos have not yet been archived. His shift in content came with the revisiting of the Internet Aristocrat. Where previously, his channel at most would have a couple thousand subscribers, now, with somewhat consistent weekly uploads, his channel was gaining popularity like never before. In addition to this, he changed his mainstay content. Instead of making videos for the purpose of trolling, he was now creating a series that looked into internet oddities or exposed sections of communities where their culture was far removed from the rest of the internet or even just their own communities. These came in the form of Tumblrisms, the Hugbox Chronicles, and Internet Insanity. The way Jim typically approached...
Yeah, I think Internet Insanity, that sounds familiar. I think that might have been some of the videos I watched, the Internet Insanity videos. And, you know, it was just random. Like, you would get in your feed on YouTube, be like, what's this? You would click on it and watch it and be like, what the hell? Yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
The Hugbox Chronicles was to give a broad overview of a community, then slowly focus on the strangest or most damaging members that often attempt to usurp the community to promote their own ideologies. And for Jim, censorship of discussion was always an issue.
They become a part of the group, and then they subtly suggest their poison until it propagates and destroys. Imagine a virus injecting itself into a healthy cell and then spreading through the mechanism of the cell itself. That is what these people are. Special snowflakes are a pox upon any nation which allows them in and upon any group which will host them. Now, you could watch my videos and you could say, I don't like what he says. He's abrasive. He uses language I don't like. He appears to be conservative and I'm not. But at least we can have a conversation.
It is true that Jim was massively hated, but also beloved. He hardly, if ever, addressed his critics in a serious matter, which gave them far less power. And that's how he built an audience who doesn't care about his political ideologies. They are there for the content. And as they do, Jim expressed his enjoyment of viewing for talent over political beliefs.
And when he branched off from that to do the Colbert Report as the host, it made sense to me. I watched it for quite some time. I like his sense of humor, his style of delivery, his ability to get a joke across, and he played the role very well. He's a parody of a right-wing conservative pundit. And whether you're a conservative or not, you have to admit, he can be funny, and he can make a joke that will make you laugh, even if you don't agree with his point.
The reason Jim was talking about the Colbert Report was because of a canceling that was attempted at the time. And tangentially, this sort of content was gripping Jim's channel. As was popular at this time, he was making videos on Anita Sarkeesian, SJWs, and other videos of those themes. This was Jim's role in what is known as Gamergate.
What you're looking at is a...
Alright, so, just to preface this, I basically don't know much about Gamergate. I have a very cursory understanding of Gamergate, where I guess... Alright, in a nutshell, here's what I think it is. By the way, what's up, Game Boy? How are you today? There was this gaming journalist named Zoe Quinn, and basically, I guess she slept with someone to get attention for her work or something like that, and then it was actually proven that this was true, but instead of it going how you think it would go, where like, oh, you know, it's been exposed, and now they'll get called out and they'll get fired rightly. Instead, it was like, they tried to protect her, and the whole like journalism industry kind of like got this almost like gang together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I understand. Like, she either had a game or something, and so she tried to sleep around with people to get good favor in the industry, correct? And then it got exposed, but instead of it being like, well, yes, everyone should get fired and everyone should get in trouble, no one got in trouble or fired. Instead, it was like they wanted to cover it up. And so it was like people on the internet were trying to expose it for when it was happening and be like, look, no, this is real. You have to understand that, you know, the journalism industry isn't exactly kosher or transparent. They're lying to you and stuff like that. At least that's what I understand. Now, I don't know. I wasn't covering it at the time. I always tried to stay out of drama, you know? So I was just playing games. I didn't give a shit. And people would come by and ask me about it. I'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just playing games. I'm just, you know, doing playthroughs and streams. I don't care about any of this bullshit. But, people in the drama sphere, this was like the biggest thing, and it caused this giant war between like internet content creators, gamers, gaming journalists, game devs. It was wild, right? Wasn't it like super crazy? Okay, let's continue.
A copyright claim against a YouTube user by the name of Mundane Matt on a video called Hell Hath No Fury Like a Lover Scorned. That copyright claim was filed by Zoe Quinn, the person who is the subject of the video itself. Now, in the copyright claim, she had stated that he'd used a still image of her game, Depression Quest, which she's a creator of, and that she had ownership over that, and that's why the video needed to be pulled down.
So she blatantly abused YouTube's copyright system because that's not how it works. You literally can't bring down someone's video for using a still of anything. It's impossible.
Because it was infringing on her intellectual property. But the truth is, it had nothing to do with that. So her copyright claim had nothing to do with him using her intellectual property. What it had to do with was suppressing information from getting out. And that's something that's been going on now for the last 3 days since this began.
Alongside covering the silence of creator Mundane Matt, Jim made a couple of videos covering Zoe Quinn's infidelity as told through her ex-boyfriend's testimony alongside the game journalist she had relations with who also covered her game. These videos skyrocketed in popularity, and not just for Jim. Being that Mundane Matt's video was removed, he became a point of conversation, and as such, the Streisand effect played its role and gave his channel popularity as he became more intertwined with Gamergate. Other people jumped into the fray, such as Milo Yiannopoulos and the Ralph Retort. These sorts of people were becoming the de facto figureheads of the movement, and with more ideologies and contentious individuals involved, whatever Gamergate was became even more confused and impossible to define.
If you were to poll the room of people that were in that, or paying attention to it, you're going to get 100 different answers. I mean, you've got demographics from all over the internet. You had Reddit, you had Tumblr, you had 4chan, you had YouTubers, you had Let's Players. They all had different.
Do I really have to bring this up again? Do I really have to do this? I'm sorry, I have to. I literally cannot watch a clip from Painkiller already on any of these documentaries. Look at this fucking disgusting fucking display. You guys say it's gross when I beg. Do you see their fucking podcast? Are you kidding me? This is their show. Look at how bad this is. I can't get it. The Patreon, email, merch, Quip, whatever the fuck it is. What is Quip? A toothbrush? You're actually selling a toothbrush on your fucking podcast. Archer Danger Island, you're actually advertising a TV show on your podcast, right? Like, look at this ugly shit. And by the way, their show always was ugly too. Take a look at their sets. What set? Look at that. Now listen, I understand that until recently you could criticize me, okay? You can say, well, your set looked like shit too. That's correct. But also, I wasn't like presenting myself as a professional business person coming at you and saying buy products and sponsorships and things. The thing was like shit, right? Like, look how bad this looked. And it was just pure advertisement. Like, I never, like, this is disgusting to me. Like, this pisses me off looking at it because it's like, out of this screen, how much is actual content? Like, a third of it. And then the other third is all bloat and fucking pay us money and buy products and shit. That drives me nuts. Look at my screen right now. How much is, hey, contribute? That tiny bar at the top. That's it. But, you know, that's great because, you know, like immediately when I said something in the chat, someone's like, oh, yeah, but you're criticizing 3 millionaires. Yeah, 3 shill loser millionaires. You're right. 3 dicks. Who fucking, this is all they cared about when they made their show. Why do you think that that's all over the screen? Like, seriously. That's why I would never be doing that shit. I would much rather sit here and then between breaks of my show be like, hey guys, by the way, just a reminder, please contribute. I want to hit a goal today of stuff. Please do that. And that way when people watch the content, they can just enjoy the content. Like, I can't even watch this portion of the fucking documentary because I'm so annoyed by the ads in my face. It's disgusting. It's greedy. It's gross. It's shitty content. But that's passable, right? But me, I'm the problem because I every once in a while say, hey, please contribute. Let's hit a goal today, right? I'm the problem. Okay. Great.
reasons for being attracted to it or being interested in it. I don't know what to tell you. Anything I say about it is going to piss off a group of people. If I give one opinion one way, the people that were in it are going to hate me, and if I give you opinion the other way, the people that were against it are going to hate me. There's no good answer I can give you that's not going to get me a metric ton of shit.
With Jim saying his piece and seeing the confusion and the co-opting of the movement, he made an announcement.
So realistically, I'm done. The channel's shut down. I'll pop up maybe in 6 or 7 months. None of you are going to remember what I sound like. You're probably not going to find the channel. That's just how I'd prefer it. I didn't like a large audience. And to be frank with you, the whole Gamergate thing is depressing. The saddest fucking thing about all of this is, it wasn't mainstream media, it wasn't multi-million-dollar corporations, it wasn't corrupt journalists, and it wasn't social justice warriors that killed Gamergate. Gamergate shot itself in the foot by becoming what they're fighting, and that is just too much to fucking handle.
Like, outwardly...
So I don't understand, like, what happened with Gamergate? Because, again, I wasn't in on it. So I don't even understand, like, how it fell apart or how it imploded. At first, it was just people criticizing dishonesty in games journalism, and then the games journalists tried to cover it up by hitting with copyright strikes and bullshit, right? But I don't understand how it fell on itself. Is it just because they became so bloated, they all became dependent on covering it and talking about it and turning everything into it, that it was disingenuous? And they're like, well, if the movement's disingenuous, then the movement's purposeful or has no purpose, because the whole idea of the movement was to expose how disingenuous games journalism was, right? I guess that maybe that's what he's saying. I think that's what I'm trying to understand. Okay.
You were just, like, kind of trying to vanish, and, like, and really it's like, hey, you know, this is, like, my real reason kind of deal.
Yeah, I threw it up on poll and on V, and I was like, this is why, these were Vokaroos. It was like 4 or 5 of them. So it's like a recording limit. But I was like, basically, this is what's going on. And I think somebody saved them and then stitched them together.
Metokur in this video was both announcing his departure from Gamergate and the abandonment of the Internet Aristocrat channel. Still, not all was lost. Through his fame, or mayhaps charisma, he did manage to make a few friends during his tenure as the Internet Aristocrat.
So dreamy. That's from Jade 3D Fox. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know who you're talking about, Jade. Milo in his pearl necklace is pretty dreamy. If it was going to sway me for the other team, it probably would be that. But as I've said before, I have a thing for Asian chicks. So unless Milo suddenly changed ethnicities, it's probably not going to happen.
Jade was a creator in this space who made videos on Anita Sarkeesian and the like. She is an Asian woman and exactly Jim's type.
Jade Fox wants to know, would you fuck Lee Alexander for $1 million?
Fuck no, but I'd fuck Jay Fox for free.
With that, Jim got his wish, as in late 2014, things were moving along rather quickly.
How did we meet? You mean us? Yeah, somebody in chat asked, how did Jade and I meet? We met online, and then went on 5 dates, and then she moved in.
This stream is notable for strange happenings, but those won't be addressed. As for Jim's YouTube presence...
I wonder what that means. What were those comments? How do you rewind? Did you, like... I thought there was a button that rewinds 10 seconds, but it doesn't do anything here. If I hit this, it's going to go back too far. Oh, look. They were getting freaky on air. Oh, God. That's what it was.
For strange happenings, but those won't be addressed. As for Jim's YouTube presence, the Internet Aristocrat channel was not entirely abandoned because Jim had given free access to users to upload nonsensical slop in the form of videos. Just as these uploaders took the Internet Aristocrat channel, Jim took Metokur. And in March of 2015, the Mr. Metokur channel began uploading.
I was gonna say, isn't there a way on YouTube, if you give a code or something, that then people can upload videos to your channel? Because that happened to me once. I guess that's what he must have done. That happened to me once, like, they enabled it, and I was going through my YouTube page on camera one day. For whatever reason, I can't even remember. This was a long time ago. And I guess I had accidentally shown the page that had, like, the link that you can do it. And then some idiot started uploading content to the channel, like videos. I was like, what the hell? How are they doing this? And then people told me, yeah, you got to freaking, you got to turn that off, or else this guy will have unlimited access to just upload whatever he wants and get you in trouble. I was like, what? So I guess that's what he must have done. He must have enabled that remote access to the channel or something like that. Okay. So, okay, now wait a minute. I thought we already established that that's not him, but now he's using that as the avatar on his new Mr. Metokur channel. So that's why people associate that picture with him then. This is so weird. I'm really confused. Is that him or not?
He had a red 24-hour ops forever duder. The profile icon was one of a rotund man in sunglasses pointing.
Yeah.
This man is Haberman, the former owner of the Metokur forums. The origin of the website's name, as Jim tells it, was chosen through a mispronunciation of the word mediocre.
What's the deal?
Metokur instead of mediocre, so Mr. Mediocre. So kind of like Mundane Matt. He was supposed to be Mr. Mediocre, but it's Mr. Metokur. Oh, okay.
Between you and Haberman. When you're talking about Metokur and all of that, yeah, people have asked about that. I'll give you the background story if you want. I met Haberman, or as I like to call him, the Troll Lord, back maybe 5 years ago. He was running a site called Metokur.org. Went to the website, went to the forums, made an account, ended up meeting him and a few of the other members, and just kind of joined the site. Essentially, it was mocking people on YouTube. There was something called DeviantArt Coalition for Quality Control, where we would go and find somebody on DeviantArt and critique their stuff and just shit talk them and put up articles about that. There was, what the fuck was it? Metokur After Dark, which was we'd go to people's private amateur porn pages and basically do a retsu praise of their porn videos.
See, like, to me, I hear all this and I'm just like, this is the weirdest shit, like the most fringe stuff. He started off criticizing someone who was a critic of Sonic. Then he started off going after the Transformers toy review community, right? Eventually it blows up and he started doing more mainstream things like Gamergate. But it's just like the most obscure shit on the internet that he's covering. Now it's amateur porn. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? How did it ever get any notoriety? I don't know. It's so weird.
Retsu praise, as Jim describes them, are in essence reaction videos with an emphasis on smack talk. The Metokur website, now entirely wiped from the internet, was famous for its trolling plans, one of which involved creating a Half-Life 2 mod that recreated school violence situations for the purpose of getting national attention. Specifically, they wanted to get on Fox News to debate on the side of defending their project. At least, that's what they wanted Fox News to think.
He was going to go on television and debate Jack Thompson, and the joke was going to be, when he got on television, instead of advocating for, free games and creativity and all that shit, he was just going to totally agree with the host and completely fuck with their mind. But it never went anywhere. It kind of died on the vine.
Metokur's influence bled across the internet. The members hardly stuck to a single website and could be found using 4chan, the Something Awful forums, and the Encyclopedia Dramatica. The Encyclopedia Dramatica...
There's like all the places I never would go. I don't give two shits about. It's just like the most fringe. I'm on the internet to troll and make drama. Like, that's where he was. Every place that I absolutely never had any interest in, that's where he was
ostensibly a wiki for trolls. Infamous for its presentation of its subjects, as such, everyone was fair game. And if you made a name for yourself in this space, whether you were received positively or negatively, there would likely be a derisive article written about you. But that rule did not apply to the ED singers.
And there was this group called the EDS singers. And the Ed singers were just unfunny, untalented people. But because they, if I remember right, because they were paying money and donating to the site, they were considered untouchable. They had made friends with people in positions of power, and you couldn't shit talk them, and if you did, people would come after you. What ended up happening was the Sysop and Haberman and a few others got angry at her.
Once Haberman got the ED Singers docs and began a campaign of harassment, the death of the website Metokur was assured.
Well, the ED Singers, somehow, through the use of a private investigator or somebody else, found Haberman's personal information. And they filed actual lawsuits against him in the state of New York and elsewhere, like civil suits. And it freaked him the fuck out. Because he was anonymous. I mean, he was called Haberman, but nobody really knew where he was.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Like, how did this come about? And the reason I say this is obviously me knowing about kiwi farms and having, been very famously, had all kinds of awful things about me and my family members and people like that up on kiwi farms. But legally, people have gone after Kiwi Farms before, and never has it gone anywhere. Like the fact that it's hosted internationally, the guy who, you know, owns it, you know, everyone knows who he is. I've talked to him on a podcast, right? But like people have gone after Kiwi Farms nonstop and never get anywhere. So I wonder, how did they get this guy's information? And when they like, would it have gone anywhere? Or maybe he just wasn't smart enough to like have his website hosted somewhere where he'd be immune or something. I don't know. Because I believe the way the law currently works is there's a law that protects anyone who uploads content to any one of these websites, whether it's YouTube, whether it's a streaming website, whether it's a forum website, whatever. And the law is that essentially, no matter what's uploaded, you're not legally responsible for it if you're the owner and operator of the website. Now, you're supposed to have things in place to take down illegal content. So if someone posts the murder of someone, you know, you're probably required to bring it down. But outside of that, they're covered. So if you dock someone on a website, the website can't be held responsible, right? So if this guy has all this content on it that's anti-certain people and they try to sue him, technically it shouldn't really go anywhere. You know, I don't know.
We don't know what his name was or any of that shit.
With these consequences all too real for Haberman, he goes to his fellow Metokur members in a panic, proclaiming that they should be left alone. Yet prodding the ED singers was not his final mistake.
And then he foolishly tells all of us, by the way, I'm going on vacation for a week. LMTE's in charge of the forum.
The posting of Haberman's docs was all Jim's idea, and so he got the brunt of the blame.
And I say good riddance to Metokur and all it stood for. Selfishly, I attribute it to the fact that I was forced to hide my own sexuality and harass my fellow LGBT peers.
What?
Prolonging an addiction to pain prescription medication, stunting my emotional growth, and suppressing my sense of empathy, as well as generally enabling behaviors which I can now recognize as despicable.
That was from Haberman's final post on the website.
But if I had to be 100% honest, I think,
so that was his goodbye post. So, of course, they're all going to say that's bullshit. He made it all up to try to, like, strum up, sympathy. Because he's basically quitting the site now. He's closing it down, right?
He was depressed. He was dealing with shit. He ended up getting help, getting medicated, and then it just changed who he was.
Now, virtually no trace of it can be found. At most, it exists in the memories of its members, one of which was H-Bomber a now popular creator that, as Haberman did, disavowed his actions on the website. A regret of actions known on the internet as troll's remorse.
Yeah, I like to take the piss out of H-Bomber Guy, but to be fair to him, again, like I'm trying to be fair to Haberman with my explanation, H-Bomber Guy was involved with screwing with people, but it was pretty minimal, right? That wasn't his main focus. Like when I said that a lot of goons came over just because they were upset with like the LP stuff, he was kind of one of those. But we did watch Naruto porn together. That is true. Please include that. That's
what
bonding experience. For Metokur After Dark, Haberman wanted to do a Retsupre of like adult videos. He thought that would be funny, and he wanted to do it of like really terrible animated porn. And there was this one of Naruto.
There is a conflict of image of what Metokur was, though Haberman recalls it as a horrific place full of life-ruining campaigns. Jim's recollection is far different.
Metokur was dumb, and it was a place to go to make and do dumb things and fuck with people online. And that's all there was really to it. And I think Haberman feels slighted because we stopped talking to each other, and he perceives it like, I don't know, like I'm the devil. Because he talks about coming out, like he's gay now, and says that obviously Jim couldn't handle that. Never mentioned it to anybody in any of the Skype rooms, and nobody would have given a shit. Nobody would have fucking cared.
By 2015, the website was gone, and relationships between some of its members were soured. Jim, as to counter Haberman's wiping out of Metokur, created that Mr. Metokur channel, so that its popularity would counter the history Haberman tried to erase. There were a few notable changes in the direction of Jim's new channel. Now largely known as Metokur, he adopted a new profile icon, one of a featureless face. The headset and the hat are of the scout from the game Team Fortress 2.
I can't believe I never even put two and two together, because totally that's correct. That the headset and the hat are from the scout, and I always thought it looked familiar, and I could never put my finger on what is it supposed to be, and now we got our answer. All right, cool.
The icon was used interchangeably with the image it described, or one where the figure had a weapon pressed against its head. That will not be shown because YouTube does not like that sort of thing. As for Metokur's content, he was slowly drifting away from videos that were even tangentially related to whatever Gamergate was, and starting up new series like Deviants.
P.U. pinches nose daintily. How can you stand such a stinky stench?
In the
What?
Deviant series,
Oh no. Oh no. Well, I guess we're going to get into this kind of stuff now, huh? All right. Well, this is a good place for me to split my video. I usually do hour-long parts. So I hope you enjoyed this introductory portion. Looks like we're about an hour, or a third in. Yeah, we're about a third in. That's not bad. The documentary. And I hope everyone watching is enjoying live on both YouTube and on Kick, as well as on demand. And I will see you all in the next part, the Mr. Metokur documentary react.